Infinity by infinity we have already done, so we'll talk about infinity minus infinity form. Now this is also another indeterminate form. Okay, this is also another indeterminate form. Now the approach to solving infinity minus infinity form is pretty straightforward. We first convert infinity minus infinity form to infinity by infinity form. Okay, and then we deal with infinity by infinity form as before. Okay, as already discussed. Okay, so there is nothing new to be talked about this other than solving questions. Okay, let us take questions. Let us take questions. You will understand more about it. Let me begin with where is my question? Yeah, there you go. This fella. Okay. Read this question. You would realize here that you are actually doing infinity minus infinity over here. Okay. Would you like to attempt this, or should I solve this and show you how to work with this kind of question? What would you like to do? You would like to attempt? Okay, good. I think I've already written the steps. Convert it to infinity by infinity form. For that, you may have to rationalize it. I think you have to rationalize it. Okay. Go for it. Let's see how many of you get it. I'll put the poll on for this. Very good. Okay, can we wrap this up in another 20 seconds? Five, four, three, two, one, go. It's okay. I mean, I don't mind you giving a wrong answer here. I just want to see your attempt. Okay, most of you have gone with C. Most of you have gone with C. Okay, let us check. See, the first thing that we are going to do is, as I told you, you have to convert infinity minus infinity to infinity by infinity form. Correct. So for that, I would rationalize the numerator. Okay. So I'll do this. I will multiply and divide with its rationalization factor, which is this term. Right. There you go. Okay. So numerator will get rationalized, a minus b, a plus b kind of an expression. So that will give you a square minus b square. A square minus b square will give you a 2. Correct me if I'm wrong. Okay. Now, from infinity minus infinity, it has got converted to infinity by infinity form. And when it gets converted to infinity by infinity form, we have already done almost 10 questions. So we are good enough to deal with those kind of indeterminacy. So we see what is the highest effective power of x occurring in the entire expression. So your obvious answer will be x to the power 3 by 2. So let us divide with x to the power 3 by 2. Okay. So x to the power 3 by 2, when you divide both numerator and denominator, numerator will become a 2. Denominator, x to the power 3 by 2 will enter as an x cube. So it will give you 1 plus 1 by x cube and 1 minus 1 by x cube. And these terms will tend to 0. So your answer will be 2 by root 1 plus root 1. That is 2 by 2, which is 1. Absolutely correct, Janta. Option number C was correct. Okay. So I think this problem gave you a fair bit of idea how to deal with infinity minus infinity form. Let us take few more questions. Any doubt here, anybody? Any doubt? Any questions? All good? Okay. Let's do this one. Limit x tending to infinity, x plus 1, x plus 2, x plus 3 to the power 1/3 minus x. X plus 1, x plus 2, x plus 3 whole to the power 1/3 minus x. So if you see this, it is actually infinity minus infinity. Okay. Don't write 0 for it, please. Two infinities are not the same, my dear. Okay, very good. Kinshuk, Ruchita. Oh, sorry, Ruchita, only Kinshuk. I saw your previous answer, by the way. Very good, Dev. Dev Rajan. Good, good, good. Good, Ananya. Okay, Kinshuk, we'll check. We'll check. Okay, Prakul. Okay, Akshat. Okay. Well, to be very frank, one of you has given the right answer. Okay, I'll not tell who has given the right answer. Only when I solve it, I'll tell you. So far, I have received so many answers. I'm very thankful for that. But just one of you has got the right answer. Okay, Stuti, we'll check. See, first of all, what is the rationalization factor over here? Many people think that just changing the sign in between becomes the rationalization factor. No, 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 no. Changing the sign works when you have a under root power, or you have a power of 1 by 2. Here it is a power of 1/3. Actually, you can treat as if you are writing like this. Okay. So it is like I'm asking you, if you have to rationalize this term, rationalize means you have to bring to this term. That means you have to get rid of these irrational terms, or you have to get rid of these radical powers. So what are you going to multiply it with? You are going to multiply it with a to the power 2/3, a to the power 1/3, b to the power 1/3, and b to the power 2/3. This is the rationalization factor. Okay. Many people just think that, oh, if I change the sign in between, I'll get the rationalization factor. No, it is because our habit has been spoiled, because we are always used to under root. We are always used to square root. Okay. So first what I'll do, I'll convert it to infinity by infinity form by multiplying and dividing it with the rationalization factor. Now in your mind, treat as if this was A. Okay. And treat this x cube as if it was B. I hope you can assume that in your mind as of now. So numerator will become A minus B. Okay. After rationalizing, numerator will become A minus B. Denominator will become this term, the rationalization factor, which is x plus 1, okay, x plus 2, x plus 3, okay, to the power of 2. Okay, to the power of 2 by 3. Okay. Then plus a to the power 1 by 3, b to the power 1 by 3 will be like x plus 1, x plus 2, x plus 3 to the power 1/3 into x. Okay. And b to the power 2 by 3 would be like x square. Okay. Now, if you expand the numerator, you would realize that your x cube term will get cancelled off and you'll get 6x square 11x plus 6. Okay. Please note, the numerator will lose x cube. The numerator will lose x cube. It was whole thing to the power 1. Okay. Now tell me, what do you think is the highest power of x occurring in this entire expression? In this entire expression, what is the highest effective power of x which is occurring? 2. Yes, x to the power 2. Absolutely, Gayatri. So you will divide both numerator and denominator by x to the power 2. So this will also get divided by x to the power 2. This will also get divided by, this will also get divided by x to the power 2. This will also get divided by x to the power 2. Is everybody happy till this step? Take some time. I'm going to take a pause here for a few seconds, and then only I'm going to move forward. So those who are busy copying, take a sigh of relief. Look at what you have written or what I have written. And if you have not understood anywhere, please question. Ananya, I'll repeat the whole process. Okay. So whole process, what I did was, this is something like a to the power 1 by 3 minus b to the power 1 by 3. So think as if your question was a to the power 1 by 3 minus b to the power 1 by 3. Correct. So what I did was, I multiplied this with a to the power 2 by 3, a to the power 1 by 3, b to the power 1 by 3, b to the power 2 by 3. Denominator also I did the same thing, because this is the rationalization factor. This is the rationalization factor. Okay. This will become a cube minus, sorry, my bad, a minus b. This will become a minus b. And that is what I have written. A, this is your a term, this is your b term. Okay. This will become a to the power 2 by 3. As you can see, a to the power 2 by 3, a to the power 1 by 3, b to the power 1 by 3, b to the power 1 by 3 will be x only. And then again b to the power 2 by 3, which is x square. Correct. Now I opened the bracket over here. I hope you can all expand this. It will give you x cube, 6x square, 11x plus 6. Now, many people ask me, sir, how do you do it so fast? See, this term I have seen hundred of times in my life. So it is something like I have been used to this expression. Okay, so I know its expansion is going to give you this. Okay, but you can expand it at your own pace. So when you expand this, you get an x cube, which will get cancelled with this x cube. So x square is the highest term that you will see on the numerator. Denominator also, if you see, highest effective power will be x square only. See, this is cube raised to the power 2 by 3. Cube raised to the power 2 by 3 means x square is the highest effective power. This is cube raised to the power, this is cube raised to the power 1/3 into x. So if you see, combined power, effective power is 2 only. Highest effective power is 2 only. And this x square is anyways power 2. Got it, Ananya? Now I divided throughout with x square, because that is the highest effective power of x occurring in the entire expression. Correct? Now I'm going to do that step. Okay. So now numerator will become a 6. Okay. This will become a 11 by x. I would have actually wrapped the problem here itself, but just to show you all the steps. Now remember, especially Shraddha, when x square enters x to the power 2 by 3, it will enter as, when x square enters x to the power 2 by 3, it will enter as, it will enter as x to the power 3. Okay, if you want, you can write 2 as this into 2 by 3. Okay, so it will enter as x to the power 3. So if it enters as x to the power 3, it will appear like this. So x to the power 3, you can write it as this. Okay. Similarly, 1x and 1x will get cancelled off. And now x enters x to the power 1 by 3 as, how will x enter x, this entire term to the power 1 by 3? It will enter as, Shraddha, how will x enter x plus 1, x plus 2, x plus 3 whole to the power 1 by 3? Right, Gayatri, x to the power 3. This is something which is exponent laws. This doesn't require a very high level concept. Okay. And this will be 1 only. X square by x square will be 1 only. Okay. Now see, this x cube, you can divide it to each of these x's, x, 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 x. Okay. Now make them enter the given expression. Make them enter the given expression. So it will look like this. It will look like 1 plus 1 by x, 1 plus 2 by x, 1 plus 3 by x, whole to the power of 2 by 3. Here also, this will be 1 plus 1 by x, 1 plus 2 by x, 1 plus 3 by x to the power of 1/3 plus 1. Okay. Now, what will happen? What will happen to all these terms over here? 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. So many zeros I have never written together in my life. So it will be 6 by 1 plus 1 plus 1. Answer is 2. Answer is 2. Okay. Is that fine? Any questions? Any concerns? When x square enters x to the power 1 by 3, it will enter as x to the power 6, Meghna. But I already lost an x, no? Look here. I already lost an x with this. So this will be as good as an x left. So this x got cancelled, no? Okay. That's why it enters as x cubed. Shraddha, I'm getting your message. I can see your message, Shraddha. Your last message was, I'm really sorry, sir, I got this wrong, right? No, no, I'm just joking. Your last message was, sir, my messages were not coming to you. Just pulling your legs. Okay, done. Confident. Okay, we'll take one more. Again, this is a conceptual question. Let me see who gets this correct. If limit x tending to infinity, x square plus 1 by x plus 1 minus ax minus b is 2. Okay. Find the value of a and b. Find values of a and b. Think carefully and then answer. Okay. No need to be in a rush. This is a conceptual question. If this limit is given to you as a 2, what do you think should be the value of a and b in this question? Okay, Kinshuk, what about b? Okay, Archit. No, no, no. A and B are constants, my dear. Shambhu, A and B are constants. Very good, Akshat. No, no, no. That's what we discussed the first class. If there are two functions, f of x and g of x, even if when both the limits are not non-existent, the combination limit can exist. Since degree of denominator. Okay. That part is correct, Ananya. Go for B. Vaibhav, very good. Okay, Kinshuk also. Gayatri, good. Okay, Anumita. Okay, Anusha, very good. Most of you are giving me A values and you are correct also, but very few are giving me B values. Okay, Rohan. Good, good, good. Come on, guys, Sinchan Rai and all. You're not responding. There are so many people in this session. Vibhas, Sinchan, Vignesh. I don't want to name people. Raghav M, Lavanya, Kiran, Aditya Shinde, Adarsh. Come on, guys and girls. Okay, 30 seconds more and then we'll discuss it. Okay, Dev, Rajan. Where is Dev Bantia? Okay, Dev Bantia is not there. Okay, good. Very, very happy to see your efforts. Let us solve this question. Now see, first let me take the LCM. Okay. Let me bring it to infinity by infinity form because then we'll have a better control on it. Okay. So, yeah, this is what is given to us. If you collect your x square terms together, you'll get 1 minus a. If you collect your x terms together, you will get negative of a plus b. Okay, let me write here negative a plus b. And constant terms would be like 1 minus b. Okay. Now, all of you, let's go back to the very first concept which I talked about in the class today. Your numerator is degree 2. Effectively, I'm not commenting on anything on exactness of the value. Prima facie, it looks like degree 2. Okay. And denominator is degree 1. If numerator is degree of a degree more than the denominator, that means your n is greater than m, your answer can either be infinity or minus infinity. But actually that is not the case here. The answer is 2. What does it indicate? It indicates that the numerator was actually not a quadratic. It has to be of a degree lesser than quadratic. Correct? So it is definitely not a quadratic. So this is like an eyewash. It is trying to confuse you. So actually speaking, this is not a quadratic. So this term should have been a 0 term. So your a value should have been 1. That most of you have given me. Absolutely correct, no doubt about it. Does anybody need a justification again why a has to be 1? If a is not equal to 1, your numerator would be quadratic, denominator would be linear, and overall your answer would either be infinity or minus infinity, which is not the case. The answer is actually 2. Okay, so it is only appearing to be a quadratic, but it is not. It should not be a quadratic. That means your x squared term should not have existed at all. If your x squared term would not have existed at all, its coefficient should have been a 0. That means 1 minus a should have been a 0. That means a should have been a 1. Got it, Prakul? Okay. Now, having said that, your limit boils down to minus x by a plus b plus 1 minus b by x plus 1. Okay. Now, let's say if your a plus b was also 0, then your answer would have been 0 actually. Correct? So I agree it is to be of a degree lesser than 2, but it cannot be degree lesser than 1. It has to be exactly 1. Because if it is of a degree lesser than 1, that means a constant bilinear, your answer would have been a 0. But your answer is not 0, your answer is 2. That means this term here is not a 0 term. Correct? That means your answer for this question is actually minus a plus b by 1. And this term is actually your 2. In other words, a plus b was minus 2, a is already 1. So b value is minus 3. See, you have to do some kind of reverse engineering over here. Right? So again, I'll repeat the whole concept. Why 1 minus a should have been 0 is because if 1 minus a is non-zero, your answer would become infinity or minus infinity. but that is not the case. So 1 minus a should have been 0 for sure, pakka pakka. So a should have been 1. If a should have been 1, I can change here itself also. Let's say I put 1 over here. Then your entire problem gets converted to this. Correct? Now, can 1 plus b be 0? No. You'll say that if 1 plus b is 0, you'll end up left with this guy divided by x plus 1. In that case, your answer would have been 0 for sure. But your answer is 2. It is not 0, it is 2. That means it is a case of linear divided by linear. That means same degree terms in both numerator and denominator. When such a case happens, your limit answer is, remember what did I say, when you have same degrees in the numerator and denominator, your answer becomes a naught by b naught. Check your notes. I think that's the first thing that we have discussed today. A naught by b naught. So a naught here is minus 1 plus b and b naught is 1. So this would become your answer and that is actually your 2. Got the point? Okay. I'll do a rhyming question to this and then we'll move on to another indeterminate form. So let's take this question.
Sir?
Yes, any questions?
Sir, can you explain this question again?
Yeah, sure. See, first of all, is this step clear to you? Till here, no problem, right? Okay. Now, if this term were to exist and not 0, your answer would have been infinity or minus infinity. That depends upon what is the sign of 1 minus a. Okay. So it would have become infinity or minus infinity, but your answer is not infinity or minus infinity. It is actually 2. Correct? So this term should not have existed in first place. So if this term would not have existed in first place, a minus 1 or 1 minus a, whatever you want to call it, should have been a 0. That means a would have been 1. Correct? Now when you put a as 1, this term is lost. You start with this term now. Minus x, a is already 1 as we have seen. 1 plus b and this term. Okay. Now here you have a scene where you have a linear, effectively it looks like a linear term unless your b becomes minus 1 and by a linear term. Now when there's a linear by linear, your answer is the coefficient of the highest degree term on the numerator by highest degree term in the numerator. So your answer will be minus b plus 1 or minus 1 plus b by 1. Correct? So this is equal to 2. The given answer to you. And from there you get the value of b. Okay. Now, same question, I will tweak it in this way. I would like to see what's your response.
Yes, sir, got it. Thank you.
Same question, I'll tweak it in this way. Limit x tending to infinity this is equal to 0. Okay. Now find the values of a and b. A small change in the question. Let's see. Very good. Very good, Prakul, Stuti, Vaibhav. Very good, Kinshuk, Rohan, Archit, Anusha. Okay, so most of the things will be the same. So I'll just copy this step. So you'll have limit x tending to infinity, x square 1 minus a minus x a plus b 1 minus b by x plus 1. Okay. Now your answer is given to you as a 0. Your answer is given to you as a 0. What does it mean? It means that the numerator should be of a lesser degree than the denominator. If that is the case, 1 minus a should have been 0 and a plus b also should have been 0. Are you getting my point? The only way an infinity by infinity can give you a 0 when your effective degree of the denominator is higher than the effective degree of the numerator. Not effective degree. Okay, let's say. Okay. So what looks like a quadratic is actually not a quadratic. It should be reduced to a constant. Correct? And when can this happen? When x square coefficient becomes 0 and x coefficient becomes 0. In other words, a is 1 and b is minus 1. Then only it can happen. So your a is 1, b is minus 1. Got the point? Okay. Try one more of a very similar nature. This you should get it correct. Let's say minus this is given to you as 4. Okay. Find what are the values that can be taken by a, b, c, d. As you can see, a is here, b is here, c is here, d is here. Take your time. Okay, Shambhu. Okay, Prakul, Stuti, Archit. What about B and D, Rohan? Okay. Very good. I'll give you 30 seconds more. Post that, we'll start the discussion. Okay, Prakul, very good. Very good, Vaibhav. Okay, Madhu. Okay, Raghav. Stuti, good, good, good. Shambho, Aryan. Not sure how to arrive at BND. Okay, no worries. Very good. Excellent attempt by everybody. Excellent, excellent, excellent. So how do we solve this? The first thing is we need to convert infinity minus infinity. It's clearly an infinity minus infinity form. Nobody can deny that. Okay. So we need to rationalize it. So for that, I need to multiply and divide with the rationalization factor for it. So I'll directly write down the rationalization factor without much ado. So rationalization factor, since this is a square root, it will be just having a plus sign over here. Okay. So numerator, what will happen? X to the power 4, x to the power 4 will be cancelled and you'll be left with a minus 2x cube. Correct me if I'm wrong. Then you'll be left with 3 plus c x square. Then you'll be left with b minus 3x and 2 plus d. Okay. Now this answer is given to us as a 4. Okay. 4 can only appear when the numerator effective degree and the denominator effective degree are same. Correct. Now, prima facie means the first impression. First impression about the numerator is it's a cubic polynomial. Okay. And first impression about the denominator is it should be of a degree 2. Effective degree is 2 because x to the power 4 is there and it has been underrooted. So right now the numerator degree is more than the denominator degree, right? And if that is actually the case, your answer should have been infinity or minus infinity. Correct? But your answer is not infinity or minus infinity, it is 4. Correct? What does it mean? It means your numerator should have been actually a degree 2 term. If your numerator is actually degree 2 term, that means this fellow should have been 0. So a minus 2 should have been 0. So a should have been a 2. Okay, most of you have got this answer. Very good. Now, if this term is gone, that means this term is no more existing for us. Then we see that, oh, from where did it come back? By mistake, I pressed something. Yeah, that means my highest effective power of numerator and denominator is x to the power 2. In that case, your answer will become 3 plus c, that is this term, divided by under root 1 under root 1. I don't think so I need to do that because you know the process, you have to divide throughout with x square. Okay, x square will enter as x to the power 4 here. It will enter as x to the power 4 here, doing a lot of damage inside. So, so it will give you root 1 plus root 1. Okay, that means your 3 plus c actually is 8. Correct? So c will be 5 and a will be 2. Okay, this most of you have got it. B and D could be any real number. B and D could be any real number, it doesn't matter. Right? Because nothing depends on them. So even if you take B as 100, 500, 1 billion, it doesn't make a difference to it. Okay. Only A and C will make a difference, which is 2 and 5. Rest B and D could be anything. Is this idea clear? Let me see who all have got this exactly correct. Not many of you actually. Akshat D has got it correct. Very good, Akshat. Raghav has a question. What if the function under the root is negative for all values of x? See, x to the power 4 graph, x to the power 4 graph, whenever you have a 4th degree or eventh degree, I'm generalizing this, Raghav. If you have a fourth degree polynomial whose leading coefficient is positive, remember the graph will always, have this kind of a nature. It'll always end up. That means as you go to infinity, this graph will also go to infinity. And if you go to minus infinity, this graph will always go to infinity. So under root quantities can never be negative in this case. Okay, so both are fourth degree polynomials having leading coefficient as 1, which will always open upwards. Open upwards means if you go all the way to plus infinity, your y value will also go to infinity. And if you go to minus infinity, again your y value will go to infinity. Okay, no matter in whatever interval your a, b, c is defined here. This guy is leading coefficient because it leads the way. Its magnitude will surpass any other term. Infinity to the power 4 will supersede any term that is going to come after that. Got it, Raghav? Okay. So